So again, the grounds for the termination were an allegation of endangering the public or something else?
Again, I don't remember everything that it says in my letter, but I believe that was part of it, yes.
Okay. And did you believe that the investigation was fair?
On objection relevance.
Go ahead.
Ma'am?
Yes, go ahead, please.
You want me to answer the question?
Yes, please.
Okay. No.
Did you feel the investigation was biased?
Again, objection relevance. His belief and his feelings are irrelevant to this case.
Can you just tell us why you don't think it was fair, and I'm going to allow it? Go ahead.
I think that there were circumstances in the history of the Department of Corrections that were similar to what happened at Columbia. And again, to my knowledge, at least, similar disciplines or similar discipline was not handed out.
Okay. Thank you very much for those answers.
Okay, any cross?
I'm sorry, ma'am, what was that?
Cross-examination by Mr. Mullenbach. Go ahead.
Yes,
Oh,
Judge.
okay.
Mr. Weber, can you tell me your gender, please?
Male?
And you were investigated after the April 16th, 2020 escape. Is that correct? I think you testified to that.
Yes.
And you were placed on administrative leave on April 29th, 2020 in relation to the escape. Is that accurate?
Again, I can't be 100% that that's the date, but yes, I was placed on administrative leave.
Okay. Do you have any reason to believe that April 29th is not the date? It's around that date.
No, sir.
Correct? Okay. And you were separated at least briefly from the department on April 16th, 2020 in relation to the escape. Is that accurate?
I think you got the wrong date. You said April 16th.
Oh, I'm sorry, July
Yeah.
16th. I apologize.
Yes, so that seems to be correct, that July would have been when I received the phone call terminating my employment.
Okay. And the morning of the escape, which of course was April 16th, 2020, were you ever the incident commander during that morning?
So I responded to the institution. It wasn't, I guess, formal like that. We were all just trying to respond appropriately and minimize, contain the situation as much as we could.
Okay. Were you the highest ranking individual in the institution until the warden arrived?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. And IACs, or persons in our care at CCI, the ones that worked in the kitchen, were they assigned to a specific unit? Do you know?
Usually, we did assign guys based on unit locations to jobs in the institution, yes.
Do you know where the PIACs were assigned who worked in the kitchen?
I believe it was unit 8 or 9.
Okay. And you had discussed earlier in your testimony, that you had some concerns regarding one of the kitchen workers, Ms. Holly Zimdahl. Do you recall that?
Yes.
And when did you become aware of issues with respect to Holly Zimdahl?
I can't, again, be specific on the dates, but it would have been shortly before the time of the escape.
And shortly before, would that have been March 2020?
It could have been, yes.
And were some of your concerns with respect to watching surveillance videos in which Ms. Zimdahl was seen blocking surveillance camera views?
Again, just trying to go back. Just thinking, not looking at anything. I believe we did view footage of the kitchen, yes.
And did those videos also review Ms. Zimdahl going into coolers with Pyox where, well, I'll just leave it at that. Did those videos also show Ms. Zimdahl going into coolers with Pyox?
I believe they did, yes.
Okay.
I mean,
did those videos also show?
Come on, let's not lead too
Are you
much
going
to
up
it.
objecting?
I'm objecting
hear
to
you?
leading, yeah.
This is a cross-examination.
No,
this witness.
this is your employee, sir.
That does not make this not a cross-examination. Here's what I'll agree to. If I can limit this to cross-examination and reserve the right to recall him at another time, I'm happy to do that. But as of right now, the way I look at this is a cross-examination.
Well, let's put it like this. I think for the order of efficiency, I will pull back my objection.
All right, go ahead then, please. Thank you.
In the surveillance videos that you viewed, did you also witness Ms. Zimdahl giving what appeared to be shampoo bottles to Pyox while she was in the kitchen?
Yes.
And did you also have information from other Pyox regarding concerns that they had with respect to Ms. Zimdahl and how she was interacting with other Pyox in the kitchen?
I believe there was information about that from other guys that worked in the kitchen. Yes, I believe so.
Okay, and there was more than one, correct?
Again, I'm not 100% on that.
Did you also have information from employees, not Pyox, but other employees that worked with Ms. Zimdahl in the kitchen, that she was potentially bringing contraband into the kitchen or fraternizing with other Pyox?
Again, I don't remember specifically what the information was, but I think there were concerns that were brought forward, yes.
And do you recall whether the Columbia Correctional Institution was accepting visitors as of April 1st, 2020 due to COVID restrictions?
I do not know if that was, I do not know.
Okay. Do you recall an incident, and you may have discussed this a little bit on direct, but do you recall an incident in which 5 bags of marijuana were found on units 8 and 9 where the Pyox kitchen workers were housed?
He already testified.
And I'm asking him, I'm just asking to follow up.
Can you ask me, can you say again, please?
I'm asking him if he recalls 5 bags of marijuana being found on units 8 and 9 where the Pyox kitchen workers were housed in April of 2020.
Okay,
I don't remember that
think the question was
specifically.
answered.
Okay. Judge, can I ask you to pull up Exhibit 12?
Okay, before I do that, it's 1:02. Mr. Weber, is there a problem for you to stay any longer?
I did.
Sorry?
I have that covered. I had time to. It should be fine. I appreciate you asking, though.
Okay, so you were able to push whatever you were doing to a different time.
Yeah, I'm having somebody cover for. Yeah. Yep.
Okay, good. All right. I didn't want to cause a problem for
I
you.
appreciate it.
All right, so what document are you asking to see, Mr.?
It's Exhibit 12, page 585, please.
Respondents Exhibit 12?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Oh, we've already marked that from yesterday, and it was admitted. Okay, we can do that. All right. All right. Can you see this document? Response Exhibit 12, Mr. I'm sorry, Mr. Weber. Can you see it? Oh, he's
no,
on
ma'am,
telephone. How's he supposed to
I'm just
see
on
it?
the phone.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
well, I guess that's a problem, Judge, because this is what I need to ask him about this document. Now, I guess I don't want to go too much into it because I don't want to color his testimony, but this is definitely something I need to talk to him about. So I guess based on that, I would definitely reserve the right to call him at a later date.
I really want this case done tomorrow. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Okay, any you further questions of him?
I do have a couple more questions, Judge. So, Mr. Weber, you had testified earlier that you and I spoke prior to your testifying at this hearing, correct?
Yes.
And did I provide you with any answers or instruct you on how to testify during that meeting?
You did.
And well, what exactly did I tell you to say? Did I not just tell you to tell the truth and that was it, correct?
Yes, sir. You said just tell the truth.
Yeah, and did I provide you with any specific or substantive answers?
No.
Okay. Judge, I guess at this point in time, I have nothing further, but again, I would reserve the right to recall him because I need to get some of those documents in, and I need to question him about that. So
I'm happy to help you out here as much as I can. If you want to ask him generally, if you want to read it to him, I'm really flexible as far as all that goes. I mean, it's that whole document's admitted. To the I don't, obviously there's concerns about influence, but I'm pretty flexible if that'll help everybody out.
well, Judge, I guess I would just go based on your guidance. I mean, if I read this document, obviously it's me just reading it, not him testifying. So I really don't know. I mean, I guess I could probably try to get this in another way through a different witness, but obviously I would love to get it in through Mr. Weber.
Well, let's see what we can do with Mr. Weber, and if it's working,
Okay.
fine. If it's not working, then let me know. But I'm going to share the document on the screen so we can follow along with what you're doing. All right. All right, so we have the document up. It's already marked, so we don't need to worry about that. All right, so we have responded to Exhibit 12. And you want, what page did you say?
Just the next page down, please, Judge.
So it would be, it starts on 152, so then the next page down is 153.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, it is Exhibit 12, but page 584 is where I'm going right now.
Okay. All right, this is an employee investigation reports, investigatory interview. Go ahead.
So, Mr. Weber, I understand you can't see the screen here, but do you recall giving an interview to Internal Affairs on April 28th, 2020?
Again, the specific date, I can't be 100%, but yes, I was interviewed by Internal Affairs.
Okay. You have no reason to disbelieve that one of those dates was April 28th, 2020?
No, sir.
Okay. And when you were interviewed by Internal Affairs, did you tell them the truth and were you as upfront and forward as possible?
Yes.
Okay. And do you recall telling the interviewer in answer 6, which Judge is on page 585, it's somewhat of a lengthy answer, but I'm just going to try to make this as quick as I can. And I
Well,
guess
is there part of it that we're going to be reading to him or what?
yes, and that's, well, again, this is a little
Well,
difficult
let
because we
him know
can't
what
see
the
it, but
question was and
yeah,
then make
so
sure that he answers.
I understand. So, Mr. Weber, do you recall being asked the question, when was that meeting? So you're essentially discussing, I guess, concerns that you had with kitchen workers Zimdahl, and you're discussing meetings that you had with respect to some of the concerns that you had. And part of that, you obviously go into a lot of the information that you had prior to the escape, as far as the kitchen workers that gave you information, PIACs that gave you information. And you also stated that there was marijuana found down on units 8 and 9 where the kitchen workers are housed. Do you recall providing the interviewer with that answer or with that response?
Again, I don't recall talking about that specifically, but I mean, clearly it's in there, right? I guess,
You have no reason to doubt that that's what you said to the investigator?
That's correct.
Okay, and all the information that you have here, and I don't need to go through it, I think we sort of went through some of that before, but all the information that you had with respect to your concerns with Holly Zimdahl, you brought the warden up to speed on those. You informed her of the information you had with respect to Holly Zimdahl, correct?
Yes, I believe we had a conversation with multiple, like as I said, the warden, deputy warden, security director, investigations captain. That information was shared back and forth, yes.
Okay. And again, did you provide her with all the information you had, or at least all the substantive information you had with respect to your concerns with Holly Zimdahl?
I would not have held anything back from the warden.
Okay. Judge, if I could just take a look at my notes here quick.
Okay.
Mr. Weber, do you recall telling Warden Novak shortly after she became the warden there at Columbia Correctional Institution that there were issues with the stun fence?
I do not recall that specific conversation.
You don't recall the specific conversation, but you told her about the stun fence shortly after she arrived at Columbia Correctional Institution, correct?
I don't recall that, no.
Okay. Do you have any reason to doubt that that was the case?
No.
So it could have happened?
But yes.
One second, Judge. Judge, I guess at this point in time, I don't have any other questions.
All right. I'm going to stop sharing. All right. So you have no other questions? You're done?
Well, if you could just give me one more minute to look at my notes, but I believe I am done, Judge.
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, I think I'm done, Judge. Thank you.
Okay. Do you have any redirect, Mr. Cross?
I have no questions. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Mr. Weber. I appreciate you squeezing us in and making an effort to be able to stay longer than your 1 o'clock time. So have a good day. And please don't talk about your testimony with anybody. We want their testimony, not their testimony influenced by anything you may tell them about what you said or heard while you were here. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you and have a good day. I will help
You
you
as
to
well.
leave. Yes, thank you. All right. So what is our plan in terms of witnesses, Mr. Cross? I can't hear you. You're muted, I think.
Sorry, Judge. I've got Ditmar that I'd like to do yet this afternoon. I really do need some food here. And I'm sorry, Mr. Mullenbach, we had another DOC person.
I think it was Warden Fuchs, Attorney Cross. Is that accurate?
Yeah, so then we'll try to do that.
And I do
I
believe
really
he is
just
available
need a
this
break here, and then I can give you a better understanding of where we're at.
Okay, but you have
I
at
have
least
somebody on.
Mr.
Yeah,
Dittman lined up to come?
yes, if you tell me when we're going to come back, I will set that in motion. He's on. Mrs. Ditmar is on standby. Dittman.
Okay, so is a half an hour going to be enough time for lunch for you to break?
Sure.
Okay, let's do that. So it's about 1:14, come back about 1:45, and then we'll have Mr. Dittmar, if you can make sure he's available to come at that time. He's calling in, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, it's Dittman.
It's
Dittman,
Dittman.
not
I'm
Dittmar.
sorry. It's a local road by me. Yeah.
Okay, all right, thank you, and turn off your video and mute yourself, and I'll stop the recording. Thanks.